Hello, everybody, and welcome to our third week of the Seaver College Speaker Series. Today, we are joined by the incredible Sylvia Franson. She is a vice president at NBC Universal, an alumni, a parent of a Pepperdine student, and just all around a great person, friend, and mentor. I'm so excited for you to be able to get to hear from her, hear her story, and be able to ask her questions, and we can all share and bask in her glow and her wisdom. To give you an idea of what you're coming into, if you haven't joined us for one of these yet, the Seaver Speaker Series is part of our response to the current crisis. It's a way for us to come together and have conversations about what do we do in times of challenge. How do we come together? How do we share ideas? How do we bring in some of our best people and build relationships and answer that all-encompassing question of what are we going to be doing with the time that's given to us, and how do we take that next right step when things seem uncertain. Our guest today, Sylvia Franson, is someone who has been able to take that next right step regardless of the circumstances that have faced her. So as you're listening to this story, as you're hearing what she says, hearing her wisdom, if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box. You can especially call, if you want, you can call them to attention of, pardon me, end of the day. But my friends Chad and Molly here, who are my co-hosts, will all be helping curate your questions, making sure those get to Sylvia. We're really excited about this conversation. So without further ado, I'm so glad to introduce you, Sylvia Franson. Like I said, Sylvia is a vice president of marketing at NBC Universal. She has worked there for quite some time, and as great as that success is, one of my favorite things about Sylvia is how willing she's been to give back, and how she sees herself as a mentor and a teacher as well as an executive. And pardon me, as the child almost pushed a pot off the table. And it's she's done all this while being a parent, which I now understand is so amazing and so difficult. On top of being an incredible executive, she's also a wonderful entrepreneur. Her and her family own a winery that I hope to be able to sample someday soon. But we've asked her here because she's been so good about sharing her story, about connecting with alumni, connecting with students, and helping them get their foot in the door and get to that next right step, having the skills they need, the coaching they need to get there. And I feel like that's something we all need right now, is somebody like Sylvia in our lives to share with us. So today, Sylvia, how are you?
Hey, Ryan.
Yes.
Do you want to take off the share your screen?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Yeah, there we are.
Oh, look at all these people. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to be here today. Ryan, Chad, and Molly. It's so wonderful to be part of this speaker series. I feel very honored to be here. I am doing great, and I hope that everyone who is joining us today is safe and healthy. I know we continue to hear that we are in unprecedented times, uncharted waters, the new normal, all of these things, but the reality is that we are in it, and we are in it together. And today, when I was asked to speak, really it resonated with me for many reasons. One is I really am all about hope. I'm a teacher at heart. I really want to give students and any alum who are participating today just the hope that things are going to get better, and maybe my story will help to inspire that, because what you see today as an executive, wasn't always that way. And so I'll be happy to share my journey with you all. So I am a Seaver College graduate. I am first generation to attend the university. My parents were immigrants from Mexico, so they did not encourage college at all. I really didn't know much about college other than what I heard from my friends who were applying or taking tests and so on. But being that, fate would have it, I did end up applying to Pepperdine through encouragement of my church at the time. And when they told me that there would be a possibility that I can apply to Pepperdine, I was blown away. I didn't believe it. I went and visited the campus and I said, how could someone from parents who are immigrants from Mexico, who don't really encourage, college education, what is a person like that going to do at a university like Pepperdine? But of course, my parents were encouraging once we talked to them about the possibility. They are hardworking. They've taught us all about hard work and work ethic. And they did teach us one thing that I hope you all take away from this, is that there is absolutely no substitution for hard work. No cutting corners. It's hard work and diligence. And so my journey begins there. So I got into Pepperdine and I studied broadcasting. Initially, I wanted to be on-air talent. And so as I started taking more courses, I realized that my passion truly was more behind the camera than it was in front of the camera. And so I started taking some business courses, and I decided to maintain my degree in broadcasting, but I chose an emphasis in sales and management with a minor in business. And so that took me then into the world of advertising, sales, and marketing. And I launched my career and a Spanish television network, who is now a competitor to the company that I work for. But really, the reason that I launched my career there is because of two professors from Pepperdine. One was Dr. Laurie, and the other was Dr. Shores. And they encouraged me as a Latina, first generation, bilingual, college educated. They said, you have no idea, but this is going to be the next big thing. And I thought to myself, Spanish language media, I've been trying to run from Spanish language media. And here I, found myself, the road took me to the network. And I met someone, or interviewed with a network who had just moved from their headquarters from Miami to LA, interviewed for a sales assistant position, and I got the job. So my parents were very happy. My friends were very confused because they did not know what the company was. They didn't know about Spanish language media. Wasn't taught in school. But I told them, well, if Dr. Shores and Dr. Lowry think that's what I should do, well, then I'm going to do it. And I think that's one of the beauties of Pepperdine, is the relationships that we have with our professors. The size of the classes, the classrooms are so, they're small and intimate. And so I was able to get to know my professors, and I babysat for some of them. And in turn, they mentored me and encouraged me to, follow the path that, gave me passion. And so then I did. So I got my first job. It was in Beverly Hills. Oh, was I excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, going from, Whittier to Malibu to Beverly Hills. I'm like, I am in the up and up. So up until then, I got an opportunity within the company for a sales job. And I thought, this is going well, until I found out where the sales job was. And the offer was in Fresno, California. At the time, I was living in Laguna Beach. So wait, what? So, of course, being the person that I am, I said, okay, well, I'm just going to jump in and I'm going to go to Fresno. I've never been to Fresno, and no knock on Fresno. It's just that I had never been there. And when I arrived there, it was middle of the summer, and it was about 115 degrees. And I was not dressed for it. I had a scarf on, and I was just very LA. And anyway, I get there and I said, okay, so this is what I'm signing up for. All right, I'm in. So I start there with the station. I get the job in sales, and I was thinking, okay, well, great, let me jump into the marketing department. That's what I love to do, research and, so on. And then I find out there is no marketing department. There is no research department. It was called Sylvia. That's what the department was. So I just said, okay, well then I guess I start from scratch, and I rallied a few people from the station. And what was so funny about that serendipity, because as an ad sales executive, I also was talent. I had to be the reporter. So if I sold an event, I had to report on the event. It was a small station. So aside from building the research department and the marketing department, I was also a reporter, and once in a while, a hand model, back of my head, my arm, my leg for, really, truly an experience. But I can tell you that when I got to Fresno, I did not think that. I thought, what had I done? And I have to tell you that it was truly, truly one of the best experiences. Within 6 months, I got a promotion to national sales manager, and I got to travel all of the US. That's how I basically got to travel and meet all of these places. So sometimes, when you think that an idea is crazy and something seems so glamorous and you get there and it's not, what I found is that I made my joy. I made my happiness. I started making friends. I started traveling all of the US. And I really started gaining some really, really great experience that then led me to my next job. So my boss from the previous job that I had started called me and said, okay, you've done your time in Fresno. How would you like to come home? And I thought, oh, I get to come back to LA. So I get back, pack up, absolutely, I'm ready to come back home. I get to my new job, and I get a senior list. And I'm like, wow, this is great. Oh, senior list. Just to find out that everyone is way more experienced than I am. I am now in the media hub. I'm in the largest market for still in Spanish language, and I am now swimming with the sharks. So I do what I do, and I jumped in. And what I found interesting was that I was so prepared for that big job because of the experience I had in Fresno, because of this experience I had traveling as a national sales manager and making all of these contacts. So those contacts ended up being many of my clients. And so there I found myself in LA with a top list, and really crediting it to my decision to work in a market like Fresno. So that I tell because it's not the road that a lot of people take. It's not the road that a lot of people are willing to take. But if you can take something from that part of my journey, is that you need to be open, just open to the opportunity. Jump in, give it a shot, try it. You're not going to know. So I'm glad that I did. And then from there, that was stolen by the competition, which is now NBC Universal, and at that time it was still owned. It was not owned by NBC yet. It was independent, and so many people said, "Why are you leaving the king for the queen?" And they said, "You're crazy. Once again, you're crazy." And so I said, yeah, maybe I'm crazy, but I have a feeling that I'm going to find a lot more opportunity in the queen, and I'm going to make it my king. And so I did, and I jumped in, and I was up against David and Goliath, and that also taught me some incredible resilience. There were many times when I thought, wow, what did I just do? Because I had never worked so hard. As hard as Fresno was, and as hard as being a national sales manager was, it was really tough to go up against Goliath. But eventually, NBC came in. They were owned by Comcast. Comcast then bought Telemundo, which is the network that I was working for, and now I was working for the largest media company in the world. So I tell you that the roads come in different ways. Some people, it's like, ebbs and flows. I say mine is kind of this and then this and then this. But there's no one way. There's no one real direction. And so today I've been with NBC Universal. I run sales for the network in the West Coast. I have a terrific team NBCU is a huge company with a lot of premium assets and content. And what I love about my position there is not only do I get to do sales and marketing and things that I really studied, but it's really centered around relationships. And so it's really the relationships that have kept me going. And then I'm able to do so much, the doors that have opened up, and do so much for students from Pepperdine. So that's kind of been my career journey on how I got here. So as you can see, it didn't happen overnight. And it took many, many years. And I'm still learning, and I'm still growing, and I'm still figuring it out as the industry continues to evolve.
Love it. That's fantastic. So I want to dive into that if I can for everybody. There was something you said I thought was supremely impactful. I hope that a few of my students I invited are watching this. So you said that babysitting for your professors is a good idea. Was that it?
That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if there's any takers. I see a baby on the screen.
That's the connection I made. Executive Universal babysitting for your professors and staff at Pepperdine. Okay, right. So unpack this a little bit more. You began as a sales associate, something you weren't looking at, a market you weren't looking at, because of the recommendation of people who you knew and knew you well, that you were able to trust and take this step out in faith, even when your context changed. I think that's, I mean, Fresno is pretty close to quarantine. I don't want to make you small. I know it's a big situation right now, but there's a lot of fear in that. So how did you deal with that fear, with that uncertainty, with the first couple nights in the apartment when things were empty and you didn't have Netflix? Like, what kept you going? No,
I did not have Netflix. I had cable because back in that day, it was many years ago. Yeah, you're right. I just, there's several things that I do today that I think will hopefully be helpful in how it allowed me to sort of work through going to a place that I didn't know anyone. The weather was very different. I had to make friends. I left my friends, I left my family, and I had to basically, recreate my life. And so some of the things that I did back then that I still do today, and I encourage many people to do today as we're facing some challenging times, is, the first is, create a daily ritual. I mean, right now we're all working from home. All the days are blending. I forget if it's Tuesday or Wednesday, and my weekends blend into my weekdays. And I think it's that way for everyone, because we make jokes all the time in our Zoom calls and say, wait, what day is it? So really it's, creating a daily ritual routine, waking up at a certain time, every day, going to bed at a certain time every day, sort of finding your new normal. So I have found my new normal. I have a very, very far commute from where I live to where I work. And so I am now taking that time that I normally would be commuting to do other things that are inspiring me and helping me to, get through these really tough times. And so I start my day with gratitude, and I end my day with gratitude. And so that kicks me off. So once I do that, I then go into setting my mind into a positive mind. I did it when I was back in Fresno. I remember thinking, I've got to get through this. I, chose to do this. I am going to be positive, and I'm gonna, I know that my thoughts create my actions and so on. And I look today and I think basically it's the same thing. I have to stay positive, and I have to wake up positive rather than dreading the day or another, I'm not sure, what I'm going to do today, or how I'm going to manage my day, or is my team okay? I think my team is going to be great. Today is going to be great. And then I set intentions. I said, what do I want to accomplish today? Because when you're working from home and you have no structure and you're on back-to-back calls, you have to learn how to manage your day and say, what do I need to accomplish today? So I set intentions for the day as a ritual, as part of my ritual. And finally, I visualize what my day is going to look like. And more importantly, how I want my day to look like. And I remember being back in Fresno, and I was thinking the same thing. I visualized my promotions. I visualized that I would get to LA. I visualized that I would be promoted into a VP. I visualized that I would work for a big company that was now #1 versus not #1, and so on. And you know what I found? When you visualize it, you make it happen. So these are just 4, easy steps that I think are pretty simple. You can, you don't have to do them all at once, but little baby steps until you find yourself in that groove.
That's really great, because I think we are all struggling with what is that structure, what is that next step, especially when everything seems foggy. And we have a lot of people on this call, and I'd love your thoughts for them, like who either had an internship or a job lined up that has now fallen through, are coming out, they're graduating like this week, and they're looking at a job market that's just filled with uncertainty. So what advice would you give them for applying that attitude in their lives?
Yeah. So I'm not going to negate the fact that it is daunting. It's absolutely daunting. It's scary. I've gotten a lot of emails and outreaches from students saying that they are very fearful, that they, sometimes feel like failures because they don't have a job yet. All of the things that are really are real. They're real to them, and it's real to what's happening right now. But what I can tell you that I think is hopefully the hope in this is that right now, don't let up. Now is the time to reach out to companies, because while some of us are in hiring freezes, when we're on the other side, we're going to be hiring. And we're going to be looking to those students that reached out to us, that were top of mind, that continuously stayed in contact, that were expressed interest in our company, and really just made that extra effort. Sort of going back to, there's no substitution for hard work. Your phone's not going to ring right now, but you can reach out and you can go through LinkedIn. We do want to help you. I can assure you that we want to help you. Right now, the executives, we're in front of our computer, so we will most likely see your emails come in. We will see your texts come in. We'll see your LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a really great place to be right now. NBC Universal posts a lot of content and inspiring messages there on LinkedIn. You can filter through Pepperdine alum. You can filter through jobs availability. If some of them are frozen, I know some people have reached out and said, "Is this job available?" And I've said, it's frozen for now. But now I've put them in this little bucket over here, saying, okay, when we're on the other side and this is over, some of these jobs may become open again, and here's somebody that I know would be interested in it. And you are, one thing I really want to let you guys know, you are not failures because you do not have a job right now. It is a tough time. It is a tough time. So please, give yourself a little grace, and then clarity, set an intention, make a list of the companies you want to work for, and go Google them and Google executives. And what I always say is click, 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 click will lead you to somebody because we are no longer 9 degrees of separation, 6, 3, we're like 2. So those are some of the things, is just to stay calm and start to really work it right now when you have the time and when most of us are in front of our computer.
Well, yes. I mean, first, thank you so much for just taking the bull by the horns there, and having that attitude of courage. I mean, that's something you've embodied. I love that you showed up even in your job and found there weren't the systems, there weren't the structures, and you had to make those. You had to keep your attitude up, but that's what enabled you to do it. It wasn't that things weren't hard. It's that you were able to see that challenge as opportunity. And I see all the doors that's open for you, and I'm sure everybody else does as well. And then in turn, you've turned around and opened doors for everyone else, like time and time again. So talk to me about that, because you you worked your way up. You became the VP role at NBC, and you've been doing coaching. You've been doing mentoring, both with Pepperdine students through the career coaching program, or through mentoring the marketing pitches. Up at the CBC. My child is playing with the dogs. Pardon me. Okay. But then even within your own company, with the programs you have, and forgive me, I believe the name is Bold.
Correct.
That you work with. So like tell us about these things that you're doing and why you're doing them.
Sure. We'll start with the why, and the why is because I care. The why is because I did not have this access when I was growing up or when I was job searching. I was so fortunate to have been led to Pepperdine, which led me to these amazing professors and some who encouraged me to do something that I didn't even know I could do or wanted to do. So certainly it starts there. The why is because I want to have a positive impact, and I want to share my experiences with these students and to give them the hope that they can do it too. And I want to be a resource for them. And so yes, I am a career coach for the Pepperdine Career Coaching Program. I absolutely love it. And at one point at NBC Universal, my admin, my assistant, my sales planner, one of my account executive, and myself, all Pepperdine. So I was really proud of that. And those were the students, thank you, those were the students that I met through the career coaching. I saw how special and how extraordinary they were and how willing they were to work hard. And I still am in touch with them. I went to one of them, their wedding. One of them, actually, I was part of their engagement and part of their wedding, which blows me away. And a few others I still coach and mentor, and I'm in contact with, and I continue to hire. So yes, and then I do marketing pitches. And so first of all, let's be very clear, there's nothing I wouldn't do for Ginger Rosenkrantz. So we're going to start there. And so when Ginger asked me to do something, I show up, and I've been a coach or judge there for about, 10 years. And selfishly, I show up so I can coach those amazing students. I watch them present what I do for a living every day. They pitch marketing programs. They pitch, my job is, yes, sales, but it's not selling just sales. It's really helping my clients to sell and promote their products. So when I'm watching these students in these pitches and they're doing what I do, but like on steroids, they've got this 360 plan with YouTube, and they're so talented. And so I look at that talent, and I kind of poach them. And so some of those have come to work for NBCU and have gone on to do really some terrific things. And then as far as for BOLD at NBC Universal, that's an acronym for Building Opportunities, Leadership, and Diversity. It started in the East Coast, and when they said it's coming to the West, I raised my hand and said, I am bold. I am bold, and literally and figuratively. And I jumped right in and raised my hand because it's all about mentoring and coaching. And we're going to start early. We're going to start as soon as high school students, which is near and dear to me, because I would have loved for somebody to tell me what to do when I was in high school, and to talk to me about the world of ad sales, which is so much bigger and fantastic than most people even know about. So those are some of the things that I'm doing. If you want to get in contact to the students or any alum, if you want to get in contact with me, send me a LinkedIn. We'll chat a little bit about your goals and what you're looking for, and I'll try to connect you with people that you can talk to and start that conversation.
Love it. And so I just have a couple more before I open it up to everybody else. So you have been mentoring, coaching, hiring all these great Pepperdine alums. You're a Pepperdine alum. Your son is a Pepperdine alum, and you also work with lots of remarkable people from all over the country, all over the world. What would you say that Pepperdine students and alumni, when they go out there and they're talking to these employers and future employers, what should they be saying is the secret sauce? Like, what's special about students who come out of Pepperdine or about this community that we should all be saying as we move out in the world together?
Yeah, so one thing that I loved about Pepperdine is truly the relationships. I see some familiar, beautiful faces on Zoom that I went to college with. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Laura. Hi, Claudette. Hi, Annette. And a few others. I can't see you on here, but I went to school with a lot of these fabulous women, and I can tell you that relationships is super, super key. I know that people don't think that Pepperdine has a strong a strong community to help people network for jobs, but we do. And when we see Pepperdine on the applications that come through, or when someone tells me it's somebody from Pepperdine, I think about really who they are as people and how Pepperdine has helped to develop these young men and young women into really outstanding humans and contributors. And they've been some of my best employees, and that's why the ones that aren't with me, it's because they got stolen or they moved on to do great promotions. But I think it's also the relationship with our professors that we have that opportunity to go to our teachers for guidance. I know a lot of students from other colleges don't have that when they have thousands and thousands of people in their classes. So I would say use those to your advantage. I would talk about the relationships as I'm out there and how important and how much they helped me to be where I am today and to help form me. And I would say that there's so many, wonderful activities that I was able to be involved in, an opportunity to be a pioneer. A lot of, pioneers and entrepreneurs come from Pepperdine. And I hear there's a great program ahead for Pepperdine when it comes to entrepreneurs. So I think it's having that narrative of a great small community. It's a small school, and people know each other. People care about each other. People stay in touch, are genuinely willing to help. They're supportive, evidenced by today. And so I would go out there and say that, we're unique in that we are special. And I do look in particular, and yes, because I'm an alum, but also the quality of students that come out of Pepperdine is just outstanding. And then, certainly, we feel proud to recommend our students to other employers because we believe in them. And, I'll put up our students against any students out there. Be very, very proud that you are, had the privilege of going to Pepperdine. It's an amazing, amazing school. I'm so excited. My son is going to be a junior in the fall. Absolutely loves it. And, kudos to that unbelievable international program. Seriously, the best.
Oh yeah, and your son's the best too. He's pretty cool in his own right. He's doing very well for himself. So something you said earlier that I don't want to let go was one of your steps was visualizing that future, which I think is so key for all of us right now. We don't know what the future looks like.
Right.
So if you wouldn't mind, how do we come up with that vision? Anybody who meets you, like my first couple conversations I met with you, you had just this infectious energy that comes from that confidence of like, you know what, we're going that way. I don't know quite where, but we're going, and it's this direction. And that's one of the greatest charms that you had. And I think it's one of the things that enables you to be such a great leader. So how do we each have that own vision? How do we create that vision for our own lives? And then what's the vision look like for you in this next season?
Yeah. So we'll start with, I'm going to credit the vision to our president of NBC Universal, Laura Mullen. She put us through a training called Fast Forward. And as part of that training, we were to write out our visualization as if it already happened. So we write it out in January and we say it is December 2020 and it's been quite a year. And you basically write out what you think your life would be. And the more detailed, the better. Because research shows that when you write down your goals and your visions, they're more likely to happen. So whether it's a subconscious thing or whatever, or you work towards that goal, but I can tell you it's worked for me and I continue to do it. And I tell all my mentees to do it. The problem is people don't want to do it because it does take a moment. But once you get on a roll, like you just start saying, oh, and I picture this and it's going to look like this and I'm going to look like this and my job's going to look like this. My team's going to look like this. I'm going to hit these sales goals. I'm going to, I'm going to open up a second winery. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you just go on a roll. You just go on a roll and just write it. Nobody's going to see it but you. So just write away. Just keep on writing. And that is something that, quite frankly, I had always done the visualization, even back when it was Fresno, because I was like, how do I get out of Fresno into LA before I knew how great Fresno was for me. But I do it now in a different way. Now I do it as if it had already happened. So I really recommend that. It works. It's worked for our executives. And it's worked for me. So that's one way. And, on the other side, I have to tell you, this has been quite the growing experience for me. I've told my family and friends who I've talked to that I believe that there's growth in stillness. And this is, they call it the great pause. I mean, this is things that we never would have been doing. I've had some of the best conversations with my clients, with my friends, with my family, with my mom, with people I wouldn't have had during this time. So I think I'm in the process of assessing as well, what's important, what's my life going to look like, what's important to me, what did I love about this time. It's not an easy time. And I pray for those who have been affected by COVID and their loved ones and their family, all of that. I pray. And if there's we have to have some sense of hope and silver lining that things are going to be better on the other side. And so my book is not done. This is just, I'm in another chapter of my journey, and I am so excited about what's on the other side for me. So I don't know, I might be reaching out to some of you for inspiration as well.
That's great. And I hope you can provide it. I think it'll be easy, and it's energy begets energy. That's why we're having these conversations. I think it helps all of us. We're all lifted up by each other's stories, the good, the bad, the Fresnos of life are very, very important. Not just, for you and your growth, but I think for the growth of all those that you impact. And that's the hope through all of this. So you are at a really amazing company. We've all had our lives touched deeply by NBC Universal. And I don't want to forget that. Yes, it's a company. Yes, you put out some good entertainment, but that's been a huge force of culture. So if other alumni are wanting to be involved in an organization like that, especially at NBC Universal, what are the skills? What's the culture? What are the things that you're looking for when people come to you?
Yeah. To your point, NBC Universal, because we're owned by Comcast, which is the largest media company in the world, there's a lot of opportunity. We're transforming in ways which are amazing to us. One is the launch of Peacock, which is our streaming service, and it did a soft launch in April and has had we've seen very early success, and it's going to be the full launch in July, and we are so excited for that. So there will be opportunities available in that arena. The Olympics, can we say Olympics, when they come to LA? Yes, we can. And Olympics, we moved it got moved to 2021. And we are so excited, and there's going to be a huge amount of opportunity with the Olympics, and then just our arsenal of assets, whether it's lifestyle, Bravo, come on, everyone loves those housewives, right? Or whether it's that amazing arsenal of sports, the World Cup, NFL, Olympics, as I said, truly, as we call it, an embarrassment of riches. But there is a lot of opportunity at NBCU. And my encouragement is, I encourage all of the students, I encourage all the alum, is just, go onto LinkedIn, jobs are posted. If they're frozen, that's okay. But find what really catches your attention, and we will help you get there. I'm not the only Pepperdine alum who works for NBCU. There's a lot of us, and we are all willing to help. If we are looking for fabulous talent, we're always looking for great talent. And I feel so blessed and fortunate that I'm able to find a lot of it here at Pepperdine, Seaver College, and MBAs. And I'll take lawyers too.
That's great. My brother's a lawyer.
There you go.
That's hilarious. He's employed, but I appreciate the dig. So that's fantastic. And I love that sense of vision and that sense of acknowledgement of the people behind the process and behind the platforms and behind the events and the broadcast. So for people graduating now, for people looking at the economy, when do you think, so as an executive and you're looking out over these next 2 years, when do you think companies like NBC will go back to hiring? Like, yes, of course, like people need to be reaching out and moving right now and making connections. There's no reason to wait. Everybody's eyes are always open. But when do you think we'll get to the other side? Are there plans in place yet, or are we still in a wait and see moment?
There's definitely plans in place, and they are being drawn out right now by our executive leadership. So we ourselves don't know exactly when that's going to be. I think we have daily conversations with our chairman. That's one thing about NBC Universal, is that they have done a spectacular job during this time to communicate with their employees and to make us feel secure in a time where it's not, and where fear and anxiety is off the charts. But I think that there's ad sales is the division that I'm in, but there are so many other areas of the NBCU company that people can be looking towards, and where perhaps there isn't a hiring freeze. There might just be certain departments we're going to need a lot of bodies when we come over this. There probably, there will be restructures and all kinds of other things. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm hopeful, and I'm hopeful that there's something for a lot of people who are on this call or who know someone who's going into the workforce, that there's going to be opportunities, but you have to go find them. I can't tell you how many times that, I've told students that you've got to go out and find them. You've got to do your homework. You've got to reach out. People are willing to help. Those that do will be rewarded. I can assure you of that, one way or the other.
Wow. Yes. I mean, hey, fortune favors the bold. And your story shows that. And I mean, I feel like that's the spirit of Pepperdine, is anytime we've stepped out, like even the story of the Malibu campus, it's like everybody thought, why on earth? But I mean, look at the result, and look at how that's changed all of our lives. So yeah, we have to be moving. We have to be doing something. We have to be doing that together. And these stories, again, are designed to help give us courage. So if you could say one thing, it had one just central idea right now for the Pepperdine community in this time of challenge, what do you think that would be, if there was a blessing or a gift that you could give to them?
Well, I would say that anytime that somebody can help open a door is a huge blessing. There. And I think that, like I mentioned, there are a lot of us, whether it's NBCU or another company, that would love to help. I would reach out to a lot of the experts. There's so many people on this call alone that are experts in their fields. I would reach out. I'd encourage them to reach out to those folks too. At some point we're all going to be hiring. And if nothing else, I think everybody needs a mentor. I know that's so important to have. I would say look for a mentor, let it happen organically, reach out to people. Do it right now, where people are being kind and want to help. And I feel like right now when we really want to help the most. I would take advantage of 85% of the jobs that we get are from people we know. And so I would not be shy. I'd use my time and say, be bold, reach out, Find your dream job may not be right now, but your dream, like think about your vision. This here, it's not about what happened to us. It's how we react to what happened to us. And that's going to be the game changer in all of this.
That's one of your favorite quotes. I like that.
It is.
I love it. I was so glad it came in. Sylvia, thank you so much for spending all of your time here with us today. And you had this journey starting from a young age, and you were able to get there. And like you said, like the path isn't like this. Sometimes it's like this. Sometimes was this the move?
Right.
I love that. That was great. Like totally went off my linear thing. I love it. And so you're on that path. But I mean, again, like a place like NBC, it's going to be large enough for all skill sets, all ages. If people are working and hustling and visualizing and connecting, I'd imagine that, if they work hard enough, there's probably opportunity there.
Yeah. And, being flexible, resilient, all those things are so important. Prepared, do your homework. I mean, that's one of the things that I teach in the career coaching is how important it is to do your homework. The technology that we have available today is phenomenal. And you can ask a lot of people who are on this call. We did not have LinkedIn. We did not have the internet. We did not have a lot of things. So we really were forced to make it happen. But that's okay. I mean, that's okay. That was our story, our journey. Technology is amazing. I'm happy we have it today. I'm happy that this is happening. And I'm hoping that, that people here will open up also their hearts and help out each other and really rally for Pepperdine and for our students and really build that networking community that is so important. As I mentioned, 85% of the jobs we get are from people we know. So truly, that's keep the hope, keep reaching out. Now's the time to do it. We're here to help, and we know people because we have lots of clients, and understand that there's going to be change. Understand that coming out of this, there will be change, yeah. and we have to be ready for that change. And now's the time to assess what would play the what if game. It's okay without freaking yourself out. Use it as an opportunity. If things change, then what would my life look like, or what would I want it to look like, which is more important.
Awesome. Wow. That is a lot of wisdom in a very short amount of time. I'm glad we're recording this so we can all go back and listen to it and be able to digest everything. So yeah, thank you for your courage. Thank you for sharing your story and being willing to be open about yes, like the past, your present, but then also how we include each other and have that call. I think I speak on behalf of everybody who's on the call today when I say we are grateful for you as a Pepperdine alum. We're grateful for you as a leader, as a servant. You're somebody we look up to in that. And yeah, we're so glad you're part of the Seaver Speaker Series. I think that is actually all the time all the questions we have time for today. So if you want, everybody, round of applause for Sylvia Franson. You can see him on there in the gallery view.
Well, thank you. I'm truly humbled. Thank you to all my friends who came out to support. I love you all. And go Waves. Reach out and be kind to each other.
Absolutely. So our time is up today, but you can see in the shared screen here we got. We're so glad that everybody came today for the Seaver Speaker Series. I hope you learned so much from Sylvia. I know I did. If you haven't felt like you learned everything, go look her up online. She has been so open about her journey, about her wisdom, and has put in so much work to sharing it. So I'd really encourage you all. Again, everything from today will be recorded, and that will be online soon. And we're going to keep this going with more great people like Sylvia. In fact, coming up on May 20th, we have another Pepperdine alumni, Stephen Holt, who'll be joining us. He is a news anchor and journalist, again, at MVC. Thank you, MVC. And so he's the son of Lester Holt, who we all know and love. And then on May 21st, we have a third Thursday of the importance of self-care with another Seaver College alumni, Christina Snyder. So we hope you will join us for those as well. But everybody, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you, Sylvia, for contributing. Thank you to my co-hosts, Chad and Molly, for keeping me fed with all the questions. Really appreciate you guys. And thank you to Galen for keeping it real. So that's it for today, everybody. If you want to stay online, ask us any questions, you're more than welcome to. But again, my name is Ryan Groves. I work at the Seaver College Career Center. We're so glad you joined us for the Seaver Speaker Series. Thank you.